All right, welcome back to Alighten Levels multi-time frame. This is going to be part 2 of chart and workspace setup. As you can see, if you remember from the first video, I've got my daily 4-hour and 60-minute charts up in the top left, my 15-minute chart in the middle top, 5-minute chart top right. Most important chart is the 10-minute. I keep that large on the bottom right. And then the second most important, I would say, is the 1-minute chart that I use for confirmation of the signals using a couple of different order flow techniques. I kind of went over that in the first video where I took that trade, that pattern B trade off of the daily level up here. But let me walk through how do I set up, since that chart is so vastly different than all the other charts, let me walk through how I set that chart up. So I'm going to start from scratch and I'm going to go to new chart and I'm going to pick a gold chart. And for performance reasons, we're going to keep this to 1 day. That's more than enough, but that is 1 day is required in order for the footprint to work properly. So you can't switch this over to bars. And then we're going to leave everything else the same. That's fine. It's okay if this one looks a little different because its job is a little bit different. And now what we're going to do, if you remember, I have that utility called Max2 that allows me to click a screen and then quickly shift that screen to any other zone on the predefined zone. So super handy tool. This is what it looks like when you edit a zone or change the regions as they call it. You're allowed to set up these predefined regions and then you can cancel those changes. That tool comes in really handy when you have lots of charts on your workspace. Okay, so let's get started with some indicators. I'm going to start with the default indicators, which are the drawing tool tile. We're going to go label remover next. Next up is the button panel, version 1. And then Alighten CVD Regression. We're currently on version 6. All of these indicators are in the Discord, the TO Discord, and I'm happy to share them with you. They're all open source, so you can do with them what you will. Hit me up if you have any questions or if you can't find them or if you need access to them, whatever the case may be. So this indicator right now, it's a linear regression of the price of the actual chart series, the input series. So we need to change this to be our actual CVD. So I use the open source CVD from the community section of NinjaTrader called Volume Delta by Gill. And the only requirements for using this CVD is that you select cumulative delta and you change the plot to the close plot. So now the CVD will be of the delta and not of the price chart. So now we're going to add our Alighten levels. And again, I'm not trading off of this level indicator, but I do look at it for confirmation along with order flow confirmation. So if you remember from the previous video, the one requirement for using this indicator is that you set the minute to the chart series. And again, that's for people who are using this same indicator with small Renko bars or Renko style bars. So that's the only change that we need to make on that. Cool, let's spread this out. Let's get this back down to a manageable width. And now we're going to add our footprint. And I've actually been working on a new version of the footprint. I'll release it shortly. It's basically the same exact footprint, except for it has more options for showing and hiding rows within the summary table at the bottom. So I'm going to set the tick aggregation level to 4. So that's just 4 ticks per level of the within the footprint itself. I have one custom signal that I like to see, which is the 3313. I'll turn the other ones off. 33, so 13 is the reverse POC signal, and 33 is the extreme value area. So when those two things happen on the same bar, we'll get this Dodger blue diamond. We want the footprint on the bar. We want the footprint text. We want the summary grid. We do not want the signal grid on the bar. And we do not want the legend. We don't want the delta signals row. And we don't want the cot, and we don't want the volume. We're going to keep it super simple. And to follow that up, we're going to add just a couple more signals that I like to see, which are the delta sequence diamond. So this is a pink diamond if 3 bars in a row are increasing in delta value, or 3 bars in a row are decreasing in delta value. And then I also like to see the divergence. And we're going to set that to 2 pixels, this to 4. So now we have a signal at a diamond at 2 pixels away from the body of from the high or low of the bar, 4 pixels away, and then 6 pixels away. Just a couple more changes to the footprint. Volume sequence look back is fine. Imbalance ratio, I like to change this to 3. I should really change that in the defaults. And then for divergence look back, we're going to change that to 1. That means when you change this to 1, that means you see every divergence bar. And that's actually okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And you can see we get the footprint kind of the way I want to see it. And we have the regression of the CVD down below. So this gives us some pretty good indicators. The AlightenLevelMultiTimeframe indicator also comes with some built-in order flow. It will show you it will show you a ratio dot on the bar itself. It only works in real time, but it will show a red dot if the ratio of sellers to buyers is greater than 1, and it will show you a green dot if the ratio of buyers to sellers is greater than, 1.5. So you can see that ratio in the indicator over here. So that's this signal right here. Here's the ratio that we're looking for, the threshold. And then here's the look back window. So that ratio has to occur and be sustained for 10 seconds in order for the dots to appear. That works pretty good. I actually use it quite a bit on the 5-minute bars. But when I'm looking at the 1-minute chart, generally I'm looking at the actual order flow and looking for trap traders or wicks or POCs and wicks and things like that, rather than looking for those green and red dots. But if I'm looking only at one of the higher time frame bars, I will look for those dots. And that's pretty much it. That's how you set up the 1-minute chart that you will use. Oh, I almost completely forgot. We need one more small change. We need to add our chart trader. There we go. Now that's it. That's how you set up your 1-minute chart for confirmation of signals from higher time frame charts. As always, hit me up if you guys have any questions or if you need access to any of the indicators.